The class is now recorded.
Hello.
All right. So welcome everyone to today's session, a continuation of where we stopped. You can see on my system during our last task, we stopped here where we are looking at managing database and tables for Niger Travels reservation system. I sent a makeup video to take care of some sections which we are to cover in the course of this training program. Majorly these aspects, talking about an operator, in operators. So I believe everyone have gone through that, but something will still have a revision on, so you get to see it, how it properly. So key things we took note of during last live virtual class was some notable statements I made, that whenever you are designing tables, you should design your tables with appropriate columns to store different types of data. Different types of data like integers being represented with int, varchar for text strings, decimal for currencies, data type, and all of that. I also mentioned the that you should take notes also to always ensure that you use a primary key to uniquely identify each record in your table. And this was all what we did. So we got something called the flight table. And if I execute this very flight table, you can see that we also inserted sample data based on the information given into this flight table where we have all of this. So what you have to take note of here is that whenever you have entered your data, always do what? Execute. Execute is just a process of testing it. You test it to ensure that it's accurate based on the queries you've written. Now, when this table is being updated, maybe you update more data, under this result grid area, you will see this little icon called refresh data re-executing the original query. So we use that option to see how it helps us to be able to get those informations over there, and that's actually how we get to do this. If I also go downwards, you'll see where we did all of that, limits, and I believe everyone have revised all of this to understand how this is working. And we said the reason why we're doing this was to analyze and present the data to obtain right choices for the upcoming months. That's the reason why we're doing this. So best practices here: always plan your table structures carefully, always designate primary keys to ensure uniqueness, use your select statements as we did here. Use your select statements to retrieve whatever information you want to retrieve from the database. Just as we have here the where. Also use that where for filtering of your data over here. So that's just a good way of getting all of this being done. So I think that's more like a review of where we stopped during our last meeting. So I don't know if anyone have any question on that, so we can proceed. Okay, so this set aside, let's also go more deeper into what we have here. I want us to add more data. Okay, database is a large one, so we have just done something for flights. So I also want us to insert or create another table for hotels. Remember what we said about this Niger Travels reservation system? We said they are a business that looks into three different areas. We talked about flight, we talked about hotel, we talked about the fact that they also rent out cars. So these three can be broken down, into different scenarios. For instance, with this flight table data that we have here, you should expect practical questions or problems, like you being asked which flights have the lowest average prices for the upcoming months. You might be asked to provide a list of top 5 flights along with their airlines. It could be along with their departure, arrival cities, and all of that. That's for flights. So for the hotel aspect, since they provide accommodation service, you should expect practical data analytics problems or questions like you being asked to do what we call a preference analysis for the hotel. Is very important to the hospitality sector. For example, as an analyst, most times we are being asked to determine the most popular hotel room types among customers. Or you may be asked what are the top three room types based on the number of reservations. For instance, a hotel I normally lodge, the View Hotel in Lekki. When you get to such a place, you get to see different room types. You can see the executive, the standard, the presidential suite, and all of that. So it might be this hotel is interested in having an insight to understand what are the top three room types based on the number of reservations that comes in. This is the job of the analyst to help run an analysis we call a hotel preference analysis. But all of this can't just work without you starting to first of all create your table. Same thing goes also to the fact that the company or the organization also offers car rental services. So for car rental service providers, based on experience, they're always interested in you as an analyst helping them identify what are the most and the least profitable car rental types based on the daily rates. And the daily rate now has to be the data points which you will need to be able to tell them that this is the most profitable car rental types, these are the least profitable car rental types. So as an analyst, your task doesn't just stop in analysis alone. It's also your duty to provide recommendations for adjusting, making certain adjustments wherever the case is needed. And that's why when we talk about the different types, you always hear us talk about descriptive, predictive, talked about diagnostic. And when we say you're trying to diagnose, you know what it means. You're also trying to prescribe, and not only that, but at the end of the day, you're trying to also give recommendation to that problem. So these are different scenarios, which I want us to, have a picture to see how, all of this can actually be done, so that you get to understand each of all of this perfectly. So we have created our database. So we are also going to create another table. This one we have here is a table we created that is showing us the flights. So let's go and create a table for hotels. Then we'll create another table for car rentals. The step. You create and manage your tables. You insert the data into it. You query your table data. You filter data from tables. You use the where clause to fetch maybe reservation for a particular customer or specific flights. There is what we call the distinct clause. Maybe you're asked to retrieve unique cities from both flights and hotels. Okay, so this is how you get to master all of this perfectly. So let us look at this well. Let us look at this well as an analyst, which Nigeria Travels have hired, that we should come help them analyze their reservation database for them. Okay, so I'm trying to picture out a scenario that can actually give us an edge. Okay, about the hotel preference analysis aspects. They want us to determine the most popular hotel room types among customers. First thing we need to do is to ask them for those informations, which are the data, and then create a table for it. So what do we do? Wherever you want to be is fine. So I can just come down here and then say create table. A create table, I give it a name, hotels. Since it's not just one hotel. So I'll give a space, put my brackets open, come down. I then start entering those attributes, those components of that the table environment we talked about. So we having informations like the hotel, can have informations like the hotel, let's say the hotel, maybe we are giving it an ID number, so we can say the hotel ID. Hotel ID is going to be int. We'll make that primary key, comma. We also have the name of the hotel. So we say hotel name. All right. So these are variables. This hotel name is a variable. It's a variable. And let's just proceed anyway. So hotel name, the data type it holds is varchar. So we say varchar. So we can say characters length 100, comma. City can be another good one. We say varchar. Character length, we say 50. Room type. What's the type of rooms? So room type, we say varchar. Character length, we can use 50. Price per night can also come in. Price per night. Please, we work with the problem. Is the problem, understanding of the problem that is helping me draft this. We said we are asked to determine the most popular hotel room type among customers. Or maybe we are asked what are the top 3 room types based on the number of reservation. This is 2 questions we want to tackle. There is 2 analysis questions for the hotel. So we can only achieve this by ensuring that a table has been created, the data have been collated, and also entered. I hope we understand this. So that's why we are doing this. This is how we begin here. So once we are done with this, we say this is price per night. Price per night is going to be decimal data type. So we say decimal. So we can say 10, 2. We'll come down, we put our close brackets and our semicolon, then we execute. So if it's not executing, you should know why. Now it says what? It says no database selected. Select the default database to be used. Yeah. So we have to go to line 2 and employ this command statement we call the use. So with database, we say use Niger travels. We execute. Then we can go back here and execute. And it's successful. So come here, I'll click the refresh button. You now see that under Niger travels, we now have flights table. We have hotels table. Hello? Can you all see me? I don't know. So this done. Let's go and insert some data. Let's assume that we have collated. So we'll come and say insert into hotels. Name of the table is hotels. So we say insert into hotels. Now what are the data you're imputing here, we'll call it values. So we'll say insert into hotel values. We'll come down here, we start entering them.
Sir, we are here. My internet is cracking, so I'm mute.
All right, thank you. So hotel ID is going to be in value. So we entered 1 for the first hotel. So we're going to work with some hotels in Lagos State. So let's go straight up to browse. So let's say top 10 hotels in Lagos State. So I'm seeing quite a number. I'm seeing Lagos Continental Hotel. So we're going to work with them now for this analysis. So first one is the Lagos Continental Hotel. So I'm going to copy this here. So Lagos Continental Hotel. That's hotel name. So we'll put it inside our code to say Lagos Continental Hotel. We are told city. So which city is that hotel located? So that's also important. I think we can use Ikeja. So we'll say Ikeja. Text string inside the quotes. Then the next variable is city. Okay, we have entered city. The next here is in line 7. Room type, the type of room. So we can just say presidential suite. What else? Price per night. Price per night. Now for prices, you don't need to put it inside the quotes, and I believe we are aware. So we can say price per night is 150. 150 dots in the Kobo. That's what that 2 represents. Then we say comma. So for others, just copy this, paste it, edit the 1, change it to 2. Here where we have this, I think the next one there is Radisson Blue. Radisson Blue Anchorage Hotel. Radisson Blue. So go back here. So this Radisson Blue Anchorage. Anchorage, okay. Hotel. This very one is in VI. So we'll say Victoria Island. This for type of room can say executive suites. Executive suites. Executive suites can reduce it to 100. So the same thing we are going to do, we'll come down, we'll paste. So I want us to take more. So go back here. We have Echo Hotels and Suites. So Echo Hotels and Suites will also go here. Say this is number 4. Thought I pasted this. Okay. Echo Hotels and Suites is in Victoria Island. So we are having Nordic Lagos Marriott Hotel, the Federal Palace Hotel. So let's go back. So we can say presidential suites. Come down for the Federal Palace Hotel. And come down. 4 Points by Sheraton. Four Points by Sheraton. So we can say these presidential suites. 6. Sheraton Lagos Hotel. So for this one, I want us to use standard room. Let's take 2 more. So we can take my friend's hotel, the View Hotel. Say the View Hotel in Lekki. You can say this is for deluxe zone. 45, or let's say 65,000. Lastly, let's take Solitude Hotel. need to be sure that it's recording. So let's say this happened to be executive suit. Let's say 100,000. So we have the Yacht Hotel. Let's make it 10. The address, don't worry about the address. Might not be correct. This is standard. On the last, let me feature this colleagues Deborah. So this Federal Palace, I think should be in Ikoyi. Okay, so please, whenever you are imputing the data you have collected this way, you use the insert command. So always don't be in a haste. Go line by line and cross check, so you don't make an error. So check the name to be sure, the city, based on the columns you have created on your table. So ensure that it's consistent, meaning it is in line with the structure you have already provided. Your hotel IDs comes first, followed by the name, followed by the city, followed by the type of room and the price. So you can see them. Once you're done with this, since you can see an error I would have made now, where we have the numbering, you can see 9 is appearing twice, so I have to cross-check. So cross-checking is important. Once you're done, if this happens to be the end, line 10 happen to be the last, I don't need to put a comma sign. What will I do? I'll erase the comma and then put a semicolon, because that's the last. So informing SQL, my SQL through this language called SQL, that this is where this statement is gonna end. So once I'm done with this, I will go and click on execute. Now, it is showing us an error telling us column count does not match value count at row 1. So we need to go and check to know what's wrong. We started with insert into hotels value. I think we had an issue like this last time, and someone cleared it for us. Now I've seen an error. If you look at each of them, you'll notice that after the name of the hotel, there is no comma to separate it from the next variable. So I have to put a comma after each. I have to put a comma. I have to put my comma sign. I have to put my comma sign. So that's the reason why I said you should cross-check it. Even as we cross-checked, we still could not figure out that error. If not for the output, action output window, which has helped us, to notify us of that. So let's go back and execute this. Awesome, it's now executed. So always cross-check whatever data you're imputing. Cross-check it. Once you can't specify, the action output window will do its own job of showing you where your error might have been. So this is perfect. So now go and refresh. So if you come to hotels, you click on this, you can now see, based on the data we said we have collated, you now see we have hotel ID, hotel names, these different cities. You can see the type of rooms, price per night. This is for Nigeria Travels. Now, Nigeria Travels is not only handling and providing hotel accommodation service, they also offer car rental service. Maybe you to the city, you flew in, and you're looking for a car to rent, to take you around, and all of that. You can also come to Nigeria Travels. They accept orders and all of that. So as an analyst, end of the month or as time goes, they will be asking you to help them identify the most profitable car rental types, the least profitable car rental types based on their daily rates. You are expected to provide recommendations for them. Maybe they want to adjust their rental fleets as the case may be. So that means you also have to go and tell them that you have to create a table for them. So that becomes our number 3 table. So how do you create that table? It's still the same procedure. So all I have to do, can come back here, double click on that, and write by create table. This is going to be called car rentals. So I say create table car rentals. I put my bracket open. Then I come down and I begin by saying it's going to have car ID, integer, as this variable name is car ID, the data type it holds is int, that's for, why it's int, whole numbers. Then we say primary key, so it's going to connect it as my join key for every terms of data blending. Okay, so now we say brackets open. We say okay, let me see, no, we say comma after our primary key. We come down, so the next title is going to be our the rental company, because these cars we are linking up with the rental companies. So we say rental company name, we say voucher, we say 100 character length. I think that's okay. We come down, type of car, we say car type. For car type, we say voucher. Character length, we say 50. Once we are done with this, we say comma. We also come down here. Okay, you can see there's an error in our voucher, letter E. So we come down, we say daily rates, daily rates, daily rates. So daily rates is going to be decimal data type, decimal. So for decimal, we can say 10 to bracket close. Since this, all we are going to do is to put bracket close and our semicolon, then we execute. So this way we have created the third table. So I will go to my schemas, click on the refresh button. You can now see under Nigeria Travels, we have car rental table now added, flight and hotels table. So quickly, let's go and insert. So if you want to insert, we can just, to save time, we can, no need anyway. So just come down and write what we call the insert command. So that's what we use. I've given you the information you need. You use insert into. What's the name of the table you're inserting this into? We're inserting it into car rentals table. So say car rentals. What are you inserting? Values. So you can see syntax highlighting that the queries are highlighted. You come down, you now start providing information according to the structure pattern. So we say number 1. So number 1, there are different rental companies. So I want us to do this class based on real informations. So let's also come here. So these are different data sources. So say list of 5 best car rental companies in Lagos. Okay, so you can see Jotos. You can see them. So go back. Let's go back to MySQL. So name, think rental company name. So say Jotos. Then we talk about car types. Car types. So let us also source for that. So we'll say top 5 car types used in Lagos for rental and for car rental service. Okay, so okay, these are others we talked about, treats and all of them. Okay, so but we know the different type of cars that are there, so we can just let me check something quickly. Here, so you can see how it's been structured. Even okay, you can see how it's been structured and all of that. Ford. So let's go and set it up. Mercedes Benz. Okay, so let's go and set it up. So come here, sit down. Okay, so we say that's the name. So for this we say comma, our quotes, then we put the name of it. So we said Ford. Our quotes, comma. So the price for this, that's the daily rate. As the daily rate is 20,000. No, daily rate can be 50,000. Just go. So come and say comma. Paste. Secondly, we have the Maxford car rentals. Maxford car rentals, what car type? You can say it's an SUV. And we say this is 45. And also come down. Number 3, we have the ready cars. So we can say this a Benz. So we can put this at 80. Number 4, 4 is Dream Africa Motors Nigeria Limited. This trip a treat. So copy this. Okay, so I think this is okay. So we'll also come and execute. So if we come over to car rentals, you will see that you can now extract the data you have entered: car ID, rental company, car type, daily rates. Now, remember what we are building here. We are trying to build a travel reservation system. And if you recall what we said the travel reservation system is all about, that therefore means all of this we have just done are important, quite all right. But we also need to create the reservation system itself, which is going to link up. We are going to link these 3 tables on it. I don't know if we are following. Hello? What I want you to understand is this. They have given you the data. This could be old data, because normally when we go to setup, we have what we call the when we are doing data migration, most times you need to get the past data. You know, even in data analytics, when we talk about descriptive, it looks at the past. When we are not talking about predictive, it's what has already happened at the past that you use to make such analysis. So for such system as this, they have given to you. But how about future flow of data, the end-to-end flow when new reservations are made? Because this is a reservation system. Is the reservation in that world that is even the most important aspect. So if incoming reservations are coming in, how do you take care of it? Thereby, as they are being posted, you should be going straight to car rental, going to flights, going to hotels, and all of that. So therefore, we have to create what we call another table we will call the reservation table. So what we'll quickly do, we can still be here, we'll come down and say create table. We call it what? Reservations. We'll come down. So we're also going to have reservation ID. It's going to be int data type. That variable is going to hold. We'll make it a primary key. We also have customer name, because all those bookings are from customers. So you need to know what they call their customers. And they call their customers and all of that. Like in schools, the customers are the students. Many here would have used students, so just take note of that. Some calls it passengers, travelers, and all of that. So we'll come down. We'll also have our flight ID. Now, this flight ID we are bringing is going to be the flight ID of flight table. So it's going to be the flight ID of the flight table. That's the primary key. So we'll bring it here and say int, comma. We'll go to the next line. We'll also connect the hotel ID column of the hotel table because we want to blend this data together. That's data blending. To ensure that when we are looking for a particular information, within seconds, we are able to retrieve it. That's data retrieval and exploration. So it's the primary key we use. That becomes the join key that creates what we call data relationship. So you must understand data relationship perfectly. How does it create? What's the foundation? How does it come about? And all of that. Now that we have flight ID, we can now quietly, confidently go and say, okay, let us now create our, also connect the hotel table using what we could call the the name for it is already hotel ID. So we'll say hotel ID, then we'll say int. We do the same for the car rentals. Please check it. Oh, yes, that's car ID. Hotels, that's hotel ID. Flights, that's flight ID. So we'll go back here, we say car ID, int, comma. Now that we are done, every reservation we have a date. Very important data point. Very important because I shared some scenarios, kind of an analytical question you might be asked. For instance, you're being asked, identify the most profitable or least profitable car rental types based on their daily rates. Daily, date is still needed. Most times you may be asked to analyze the reservation made by a particular customer and that you should provide insight into their travel preferences, including their preferred airlines, the hotel types, and car rentals. Okay, so such thing means you're not looking at patterns. Okay, you're not looking at patterns. You're not looking at trying to uncover patterns, which could come in the form of habits. Okay, thanks. Which would come in the form of habits. You know, that's analysis for you. So that's interesting. So we look at all of this. So this linking up and the relationship we are trying to create, is quite important. So this is all what we have to do going forward. So based on this, date is very important. I don't think we created dates in car rentals. Date was not provided. Hotels, date was not provided. So always make sure there's room for dates. So we'll come down here. We'll say reservation dates. So the data type will be used. Dates, comma. Now we'll now create what we call a foreign key. I don't know. Did any of you explore what is known as a foreign key? Hello?
Hello, sir.
What do we mean by foreign key?
Hello, sir.
Yes, I can hear you, ma.
Okay, because I signed on to my laptop and my phone because my
Okay, but
car here for my laptop, I've not been able to fix the issue. So foreign keys, when you say, okay, like the primary key, it's foreign key, just they link data in one table to data in another table. That's what I know as a foreign key.
So let's say you're asked to explain this to a 5-year-old.
Hello, sir.
Can you hear me? I can hear you, ma.
Hello.
Hello, I'm with you. I can hear you.
Okay. I said that the foreign key links data in one table to the data in another table.
Okay. So okay, that's cool. So if I'm having reservation table now, what are you saying in general? What kind of linking is it going to do for us?
Did I order? Hello, sir.
I'm with you, man. It's
Yes, I don't know I'm just managing my network. What I'm saying is that, like when we have the primary key is a unique identifier for each
okay.
record in a table. Then when you talk about the foreign key links, it establishes a relationship between tables by referencing the primary key of another table. So it more like links up data in one table to another data in another table.
Okay.
Yeah.
Okay, Sakayode, are you there too? Hello. I think I saw that we are three in class tonight. I just want to be sure the other person is following. Okay, so because of time, so we'll be rounding up in some couple of minutes. Let's say in the next 10 minutes. So just as Mrs. Beauty, our class rep, have said, that is it. So we'll be employing that key here. We'll be employing it here. Now what I want you to understand is that as far as database is concerned, foreign key is something that is special. I talked about relationship. So you must create a relationship. When we say this person have a relationship with so person, it means that there is a connection. There is something that connects them. So that's what the foreign key does. It is a special kind of connection between not individuals here, but between tables. Tables becomes the attribute, the entity which needs to, be connected. So that's what it does. Most persons will tell you that foreign key is a bridge. They're also correct. A bridge connects the other part of the road to the other part. But here you're not connecting roads, you're connecting informations. Informations are what are being stored inside the table. So whenever you want to connect the information in a table called car rentals to information in flight table to information in hotels table to information in reservation channel seats. Okay, so what you use is the foreign key. Now let's imagine here you can see we have our car rentals table which gives us detailed information about let's open it, about the different cars that are being rented. You can see the different car types. Okay, it also gives us information about or holding details of information about the different rental companies and how much it costs per day. That's the daily rates. Now if we walk down to the reservation table we are trying to create, okay, you can see reservation is also going to specify the information for the car's ID, the hotel ID, and all of that. Now, what I want you to understand is this. If I come in here, what I have to do as an analyst is to come and add up foreign key. Is to come and add up foreign key. Now, what this basically is going to, how it's going to be, is that I will come here, I'll say foreign key, then I will say, okay, let's say I'm focusing on car ID. I don't know if you can still see my screen. Okay, so I say foreign key.
So I can see
All
your
right.
screen.
So I say flight ID, this one here. I can copy it or I just type it in. Flight ID, bracket close. So this is just how we put it down. This is just how we put it down. Now, based on this, you can see that in this is the reservation table I'm doing this. Now, the reservation here, I'm trying to create a foreign key, for flight ID. Now, the flight ID column is now like a special tag that is going to connect. So this foreign key flight ID inside this reservation table is like a special tag that connects the flight table. Remember, we have a table called flights. So it's going to connect the flight table to the reservation table. It's just like saying, hey, this flight ID is important and it relates to something in the flight table. That's what it actually does. Now, that's not the only thing we are going to do here. Since we are providing this, we also have to ensure that SQL is able to look at that table. This alone connects. But remember, we would want to retrieve data from that table. For that purpose, we use another command we call the reference command. So the reference command will help us look into, it's like to zoom into this flight ID or this flight table. Meaning we are now trying to pass a message by using the reference. So we always do this. We say references. So what we are going to actually reference, we are going to reference the name of that table, which is flights. So we'll say look into flights. Bracket open, the name of the foreign key or primary key there, which is flight ID. Bracket close, comma. Now, what I want you to understand is this. This alone, from foreign key to this part in line 44, what it's actually doing is just to show that this relates to something, trying to connect to that table. Now, it's one thing to connect, it's another thing to pass a message that is just like a signpost. Signpost shows you, tells instruction. So this is going to like pass that message that please SQL look at the flight table. That's why we are using reference. Meaning, whatever number you find in the flight ID column in the reservation table should match the flight ID number in the flight table. That's just what it's doing. So this is just one of those things, techniques you must always have, never forget. Now, why are we using a foreign key? The reason is simple. Foreign key ensures that the informations you have in, for instance, your flight table always matches the information relating to flights that you're going to have in your reservation table. Why are we using the foreign key? In our example, the foreign key here ensures that if, for instance, we mention a flight ID in the reservation table, that flight ID must actually exist in the flight table. This is why you must use a foreign key. As an analyst, never you forget these things. Always think of it like a relationship. Just like how people have relationships. Tables in a database can have relationship. I hear people say, no, that's wrong. The foreign key is what defines this relationship. Maybe that's what they don't understand. What defines the relationship is the foreign key, and you must always put that into consideration. Also, always note that foreign key helps you prevent mistakes. For example, flow with me. Let's say this is a reservation system for customers. Okay, now do you know that with the foreign key, it's going to stop you from saying a customer reserved a car that does not actually exist in, let's say, the car rental table. Of course, there is no way a customer will make a reservation that moves forward for a car that does not exist, or book a hotel that Niger Travels doesn't have a contract agreement with. It's not possible, because you already have a foreign key that is going to help you prevent such mistake. And of course, you will see all of this. Even when it comes to data integrity, it helps you, make sure that the information in your database makes sense and is reliable at all times. So it's very important for you to understand this. You want to connect information in one table to another. You want to link reservation to a particular car in your car rentals table. Maybe a reservation was made for an SUV or a Mercedes Benz. Foreign key helps you to do that. So when it comes to best practice, the standard is the same globally. What we always do is that we always make sure that our foreign key points to a valid reference. Our foreign key must always point, this global standard must always point to a valid reference. It's just like making sure that it fits in perfectly together. So that's just how all of this works. So this same thing we have done here, we'll also repeat it to other tables, because this is not the only tables we have. So what do? We'll come here and also repeat it. Don't waste time, just copy this, Ctrl C, then Ctrl V, you paste it. So this is going to change. I think we have this is going to change to hotel ID. So say hotel ID. Then the next one we are going to bring down here is going to be for our car ID. So say car ID. So a valid reference for this is going to change. We say hotels, name of the table is hotels. Then we change what's inside to our hotel ID. I didn't put S, so you must ensure that it's consistent with how it was spelled. So for car ID, same thing is gonna happen here. We're just going to change this to car rentals. Car rentals. Then I'm going to come over here and change this to car ID. So once I'm done with this, since this is the last, I'm not going to put a comma. So instead, I will come down, put my bracket close, put my semicolon, and then I'm going to execute. So now it's showing us an error. So we need to check to know where error is coming from. So let's go and read up the error message. The error message says, you have an error in your SQL syntax. Check the manual that corresponds. So you can expand this. Let it show you the full. You can even copy this and go and paste it somewhere so you can view it. So it says create table reservations, reservation ID in primary key. Okay, can you see the part where we have an error? It should also be ticked red. Look at it, a red sign. A red sign is on it. Okay, so that's in line 38. So I will come, you notice what primary key is joined together. Those are separate words. So I'm going to separate both of them now. So once I'm done doing this, I will then execute because it has been corrected. The red stuff is no more there. So when I execute this, you can see it has been executed successfully. So I will refresh. We now have a table called reservations. And on it, we can move to foreign keys. We'll see reservation, foreign key, and you can come down. You see where we have the metadata related to it. Okay, the definition. Remember when we talk about metadata, data about data. We said it describes the data definition. You can see the target, the on delete, and all of such information that are provided. Okay, so the good thing about this is that you can navigate to each of them for car ID, for hotel ID. I can also navigate to the first one being for flights. So this is awesome, right? Good. So this is where we're going to cut it off for tonight's session. So in our next class, we'll be looking at more interesting scenarios where we are now having data flowing in from all corners. You have to use the insert to insert those values into your reservation system. So that's going to be an assignment we're providing for everyone. So you practice this so that you can be able to analyze different evaluations coming in where you are asked to solve problems, and that's what analysis is all about. So ladies and gentlemen, thank you all for coming. Thank you all for coming. And don't forget, come to Nigeria Travels, open it, click on the map box, and you'll see our reservation waiting for you, asking you reservation ID, the name of the customer, the flight ID, the hotel ID, the car ID, reservation date, and all of that. So please take notes, analysts. So this is where we're going to call it a day. Thank you. Do your assignments, practice, practice, practice. See you during our next class. Good night.